Omni Edition Sports presents from Garden City High School in Garden City, Michigan, Cougar softball. This afternoon, the Garden City Cougars take on the Belleville Tigers in a doubleheader here at Lighted Field. Hi, everybody. This is Dan York along with Ted Fournier, and this is the first of two here at Garden City High School today on television. We will have them split, airing one the weekend of the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, and the other one the weekend after that. But if you're listening to us live on our live audio stream on ustream.tv, we welcome you. This is only Garden City's 6th game this season. This is only game number 8 for Belleville. Lots of rainouts. We thought this one might be a casualty of rain, even though the weather is very good. We had heavy thunderstorms overnight. We had rain yesterday morning. The team was unable to practice on the infield yesterday, but they've been able to get onto the field today. Barry Patterson and his coaching staff have done a whale of a job getting this field in shape for this one, and we certainly appreciate that, so we can bring you a doubleheader of softball here from Lighted Field. Garden City made it to the Final Four last year. They are perpetual visitors to the Final Four. This is one of the top softball programs in the state. Belleville comes into this one 4-3 overall. The Cougars come into this one 5-0 after a doubleheader sweep of Southgate Anderson on Monday, and it was an ugly win for Garden City, but they certainly will take it. So let's take a look at the starting lineups for the visiting Belleville Cougars. Leading off and playing in the outfield will be number 8, Andrea Rodriguez. She's in left field. Batting second and playing third base, number 12, Madison Amp. Hitting third, the shortstop, number 2, Ryan Hollis. Batting fourth and catching, number 11, Bailey Creer. Hitting fifth and playing first base, number 9, Jessica Sirac. Batting sixth and pitching, number 3, Jayla Jackson. Hitting seventh and playing second base, number 1, Alec Barnes. Batting eighth and playing center field, number 7, Megan Jernigan. And batting ninth, the right fielder, Kendall Zantop, number 13. And Ted Fournier with us. And Ted, you have got to see a lot of these girls as the JV basketball coach here at Garden City for the girls, but you've seen these girls grow up, and Barry just puts together team after team after team of quality players.
I was thinking while you were talking that Barry doesn't regroup, he reloads, and there's 16 players back here from last year's team, and you said the Final Four. They've actually been to the Final Four the last 2 years, losing in the semifinal games in Battle Creek, and just getting to the Final Four is quite an honor. And this team, they play hard during the year. They play a lot of hard tournaments. The pitching changes, but you know what? The fundamentals are usually solid on this team. And we're not going to see outstanding, overbearing pitching from the Cougars, but we should see some really fine defensive play out there in the field.
On the mound for the Cougars is Rachel Bomarito, and we're ready to go here at Lighted Field in Garden City.
That was right across the letters, a high strike, and she'll be hard to hit if she gets that strike the whole evening here.
Rodriguez, the leadoff hitter, the left fielder. She is a left-hander, and she tries to drag a bunt towards third base across the infield. Is in time. Nice play by Glenfield on a nice bunt by Rodriguez. Really wasn't a bunt, more of a slap. Really? And Rodriguez is out.
Really soft bunt. Glenfield played shortstop last year, is playing the hot corner, and Powell over at first is, she scoops up everything.
So Madison Amp will be the next batter. She's the third baseman, a right-hander for this Belleville Tiger team. Peg Curtis, the manager, head coach of Belleville, and this one is hit foul and out of play down the first base side. Beautiful day here. We haven't had very many of them. Yesterday was a great day, too. Played under pretty cold conditions and windy conditions on Monday. Led to quite a few dropped pop-ups and wind-blown fly balls on Monday. And that one is on the outside corner and high, so called the ball. 66 degrees at game time here at Lighted Field.
That ball just floated in right over the black of the plate.
Bob Allen, our home plate umpire. And this one is hit into right field. Fading back is Quintana, and she catches out number 2. So that'll bring up Rhiann Hollis, number 2 on this Belleville team. Hollis, the shortstop.
Third baseman backing up. Usually in softball here, your third baseman's almost shaking hands with your batter, but Glenfield backing up.
The rock and the pitch. Popped up foul out of play over us. Bomarito on the mound. Bomarito won 10 for this Garden City team last year.
Last year's starting pitchers sitting right to the left of me, Gabby Joseph, and she's watching her sister behind the plate today.
Gabby also won 10 last year for Garden City, as you see that one go high.
Bomarito got into the tournament and pitched that semifinal game, and as Gabby was injured in there in the playoffs, did a fine job. It was a 1-0 loss in the semifinals.
The rock and the pitch.
That was low and outside.
Low and outside.
I see you got us back behind the plate this year. Last couple of years we've been down the first baseline, but you must have paid your fees up and got us back here.
We ran out of options, to be perfectly honest. Here's the pitch with 2 down. This one is hit foul off the screen in front of Garden City's dugout.
What a good pitch. That was right outside, and just fouled it off at the end of the bat there. Hollis staying alive.
Top of the first here at Lighted Field in Garden City. Cougars and Tigers. Garden City and Belleville. Here on Omni Edition Sports GCTV. There's a swing and a miss. Great job painting the outside corner and getting Hollis to chase. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for the Cougars.
Well, really getting technical on that, Dan. That was way outside, and she swung at it. She set her up. Joseph just kind of hopped outside. They didn't want to throw her a strike. They wanted her to chase, and she did. So that was a great strikeout.
Let's take a look at the starting lineup for the home team. The Garden City Cougars, managed by Hall of Fame manager Barry Patterson, inducted into the Softball Coaches Hall of Fame just over the winter. Leading off, and pitching will be number 2, Rachel Bomarito. Batting second and playing second base, number 12, Caitlin McIntosh. Hitting third, the catcher, number 7, Abby Joseph. Batting fourth and playing a third base, number 20, Kaylin Glenfield. Hitting fifth, the right fielder, number 8, Gabby Quintana. Batting sixth and playing a first base, number 15, Kelsey Powell. Batting seventh, the designated player, number 10, Hannah Vera Burgos. Batting eighth and playing shortstop, number 3, Allie Lynn. And batting ninth is Rachel Spellman. And it'll be Swisher who is playing in center field and not batting at the beginning of this contest for the Cougars.
Jayla Jackson, the pitcher, looks like she has a little mustard on that fastball, and she throws a rise, too. So let's see if she's overbearing or overpowering pitcher, or they can get to her.
She's 3-3 coming into this game.
You can do defense anytime you want. You do it in between batters. You just put it up whenever you want it.
So Bomarito, McIntosh, and Joseph for Garden City here in the first. Bomarito with a couple of hits in the first game on Monday to help support her own cause. That was a back-and-forth game against Lincoln Park, and here's a ground ball right at the first baseman. Easy play for Sarek, so there's one up and one away here in the top of the first inning.
She hit that one meekly. She didn't get all of it. She just a soft ground ball that Sunday room service roll there to first base.
That'll bring up Caitlin McIntosh, who's a senior. And she looks at one just down low. Now, here are the superlatives for McIntosh. She is 13th in career hits for the Cougars at 102 with 1 year left to play. These are the stats coming into the season. She's 8th in runs scored at 102. She's 11th with a .399 batting average. and she has 23 doubles, which is 5th all-time in Cougar history. That's with 1 year to play, and you're going to hear that throughout the game, that these girls that are even underclassmen have set all kinds of marks for the Cougars.
All right. Chapman is out of focus.
And here's the pitch. There's a strike called.
Caitlin was one heck of a point guard, too, but she decided to dedicate herself to softball, and we lost a point guard in our basketball program.
Here's the pitch. Down low, so McIntosh works a walk off of Jackson.
And that's exactly what 1 and 2 are supposed to do. You work the pitcher, you try to get on base, load it up for the...
Let's take a look at the defense for the visiting Belleville Tigers. At first base is Sirac. At second base is Barnes. At short is Hollis. At third is Amp. In the outfield and left field is Rodriguez. Center field is Jenigan. The right fielder is Antop. And this one is hit all the way to the wall. Here comes McIntosh around third. She will score easily. And it's an RBI double for Abby Joseph. So Joseph picks up where she left off on a Monday, driving a run home and giving Garden City an early 1-0 lead.
That was a sharply hit ball right down the line, and once it rolled to the fence, there was no stopping McIntosh from scoring.
So Smolar will run at second base as a courtesy runner, as the pitcher and catcher are allowed a courtesy runner without any substitution requirement. And Glenfield takes a look at a strike. Glenfield has some monster power.
We did a game with you last year. She had 2 home runs in the game.
She absolutely did. She is a sophomore. The outfield fence here just shy of 200 feet, probably about 190 feet. That one hops over and I think hit my truck.
And when we talk about the fences, Dan, last year was the first time these fences were brought in. Before it was like 1.5 miles to center field.
Yeah, we were putting our lift in place out in center field, and the old warning track is still there. And it's amazing how deep this field used to be. But now it is regulation, high school dimensions, infield and outfield, deserving for this quality program of the Garden City Cougars. That one is inside on Glenfield.
Jackson is bringing it, but she's missing the plate. She's been all around the plate, and when she does come across the plate, we've been able to hit it.
Here's a fly ball. Will drop into the outfield for a base hit. Here comes Joseph around to score. The throw goes between home plate and third, and Glenfield trots into second base. So Glenfield with a single and an RBI. And Joseph scores from second. Glenfield advances to second on the throw, and still only 1 out here in the first.
We got to get a picture sometime today of Coach Patterson waving them in. Looks like he's going to throw his arm out of his sock over there at third base.
Gabby Quintana, the batter now, and she looks at the ball up high.
That was just a meekly hit right over the first baseman, but Coach Patterson recognized right away that there wasn't going to be a play at the plate.
Here's the pitch from Jackson. Quintana thought about bunting, lets it go, 2-0.
The other thing, by forcing that throw to home, that allowed the runner to get down to second base. So Glenfield's down at second in scoring position again.
See what Quintana can do with her. And she looks at a ball up high. Nope, that's a strike called.
He's got a late.
He hung me out to dry.
Very unique strike call there. He hesitates for a second or two.
I thought it might be called a strike. That one is down low. So 3 balls and a strike on Gabby Quintana. Kelsey Powell on deck. Cougars lead at 2-0 early on. This one is hit foul right over the net. behind home plate here at Lighted Field. Cougar softball, the Belleville Tigers and the Garden City Cougars. Here's the rock and the pitch. This one is pop foul. This one will go over the dugout at first base.
Fisted that one foul.
2-0 Cougars early on.
Quintana looking down to Patterson.
Barry Patterson, the winningest coach in Garden City High School, really in any sport. Here's the rock and the pitch. This one is ripped into the outfield for a base hit. It's going to get past the right fielder and almost to the warning track. That will score Glenfield. The throw will go into second base, and Quintana will check in with an RBI double. Glenfield scores from second, and the Cougars lead it 3-0.
What's happening now? The runners are we're getting with runners in scoring position with every hit here. Is we got a walk, a double, a single, and a double for 3 runs.
So the catcher, Creer, goes out to have a conversation with Jackson, her pitcher, to give her a little break. Try to get her focus back. That'll bring up Powell for the Cougars. And Powell hits one over the second baseman's head. Right fielder comes in and makes the play, and there's 2 away. So whatever Creer had to say to her pitcher helped out. And that'll bring up Hannah Vera Burgos, and she's got some power. Vera Burgos with a huge day on Monday in the first game with 3 RBIs and a couple of runs scored. Here's the pitch from Jackson. Runner on second and 2 down, and it's a called strike on Hannah Vera Burgos.
Vera Burgos coming from a very athletic family. This young lady.
Everybody but her dad. He's got to be here somewhere. Pop foul over home plate.
Outstanding basketball player, plays volleyball, and she loves baseball or softball.
Yeah, her brothers.
She's probably the only player on the field today that's been part of the festivities at a National American League All-Star game.
Oh, that's right. She was the pinch hit and run contest, whatever they call it these days.
She was the Michigan or national representative. I don't know. She'll tell you the story.
And there's a strike called, and the inning is over, but not before Garden City comes up with 3 runs in the inning. 3 runs on 3 hits. There were no Belleville errors and 1 runner left on base. So we'll go to the top of the second inning with the Cougars leading by a score of 3-0. Let's take a look at the defense for Garden City against this Belleville Tiger team. As you've already seen, Bomarito on the hill for the Cougars. Abby Joseph behind the plate. Powell at first, McIntosh at second, Lynn at short, Glenfield at third. In the outfield, it's Spellman, Swisher, and Quintana. And we said Swisher not batting to start this one out. That is who Vera Burgos is hitting for. And again, struggles on Monday with the wind for the outfield. It was quite an adventure every time a ball was hit into the air, with gusty winds in the 20 to 30 mile an hour range in that game against Southgate Anderson.
Well, Bomarito, nothing overpowering, did strike out the third batter. We'll face 4, 5, and 6 in the Belleville order. And let's see that she's got a 3-run lead, and let's see if the defense and the fundamental play these Cougars are relying on this year can keep them holding this lead.
Bailey Creer, Jessica Sirac, and Jayla Jackson, the 4, 5, and 6 hitters, to lead off the second inning here at Lighted Field. Dan York and Ted Fournier, Omnidition Sports, GCTV on television and Ustream.tv. Look for Garden City GCTV Sports. That's GCTV Sports for our live audio streams of selected games of boys baseball and girls softball throughout the spring. Our great experiment. Bomarito looks into her catcher, Joseph. Here's the rock and the pitch. And there's a ball outside on Creer.
They are purposely pitching outside. Joseph is setting outside.
Here's the pitch. This one is popped up. First baseman calls for it. Powell takes it. And there's one up and one away.
That time the Joseph set up for the pitch right down the heart of the plate.
Powell had quite a few putouts unassisted on Monday. That'll bring up Sirac. Right-handed hitting first baseman. Here's the pitch. Strike called on the outside corner. First of two here at Lighted Field. We'll have both of them for you.
Bomberino gets that call all day long. She's going to be tough.
That one stops short of the plate. Outfield and infield straight up on Sirac. Outside.
We haven't seen too much on the inside part of the plate from Bomberino, as Joseph is actually setting up a lot of times right out of the strike zone.
The rock and the pitch. Popped up. Second baseman, right fielder. Second baseman will take it. That's McIntosh. And there's two up and two away, and that'll bring up the pitcher, Jayla Jackson.
You almost wonder if the theory that they're working on is we're going to look outside, get you to crowd the plate, and then bring it across the plate and jam you, because a lot of these pop-ups have been on the handle of the bat. Now the inside target.
And this one is hit into right center field. It's deep, and it'll take one hop off the wall. Jackson headed to second base, and she'll stay there. She thought about a triple for a moment. And she trots into second base with a stand-up double.
Jackson, tremendous wheels as she came across, and I thought she might come to force the throw to third. But when you're down 3 runs, you do not want to make the third out at third. So
never make the first out or the third out at third base is the rule. So that'll bring up Alex Barnes, the second baseman. Abby Joseph looks to her coaching staff, which is now on the first base side here at Garden City High School. And there's a changeup outside. Forever, Garden City was on the third base side here at Lighted Field, but they've since moved over to the first base side.
What was the thought?
I don't know. I've never even actually asked. Maybe because it's closer to the concession stand for Barry. Here's the rock and the pitch. And this one's fouled off right at Ted's head.
Actually, I'm not the facilities are in the concession stand, and with Barry's age, I'm sure that was that was more
closer to the restroom.
Yeah.
Yeah, said the two oldest guys in the planet. Runner on second base is Jackson. Barnes is the batter. This is down low. Joseph keeps it in front of her.
Now, this is a situation in a game you do not want to give up this run. You want to get this out 3-1, especially when you're not overpowering from the mound. Every run is precious.
The rock and the pitch. Popped up foul and out of play. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Barnes.
Now let's see if she goes outside on this play and get to see if coaching staff wants her to chase this. Joseph looks for the signal. They're calling the signals from the bench.
Here's the rock and the pitch. Just inside and a little low. So a full count now on Barnes.
Bomberino got the first 5 batters and then a double by Jackson.
Ground ball to third. Glenfield comes up with it clean. Across the infield. In time. And the side is retired. So a hit, but no runs scored. 1 runner left on base. We go to the bottom of the inning. Cougars still lead it by a score of 3-0.
And the way you described that, Dan, was perfect. She picked that up really clean. And Glenfield played a year at shortstop and has moved to the hot corner, just smooth as glass, and threw her out. And like we said, Powell's like a wall over there.
Glenfield, only a sophomore. Garden City with some talented seniors, but some underclassmen too. Abby Joseph will be back, next year. Hannah Vera Burgos will be back. Spellman will be back. Powell will be back. So there's some serious talent returning along with Glenfield to this Cougar team next year. This team is built to win, though, this year.
Oh, yeah. They're going to go as far as their defense takes them. They are, you saw in the first inning, and you were telling about the career stats, there are some ladies here that have hit many, many balls and scored many runs. The difference is over a lot of the best teams in the state have this pitching that you don't even need a defense behind them. They'll strike out 15 out of 21 batters.
And Garden City has been that team before.
Yeah, and they're not this year. They're going to – what we have to watch in this game and the next game and throughout the season, how good is the defense? Do they make the fundamental plays?
Allie Lynn to lead it off for Garden City, and she looks at one down low.
She's a legacy in the program. Her sister played some great ball here for 4 years, and I think is playing college ball now, isn't she? Is it Northwood?
It's somewhere up there. And she looks at a strike.
Lynn's only a sophomore.
Yeah, so again, just lots and lots of talent as she looks at one just low.
Now, I haven't seen the roster for the JV, but based on talking and a lot of conversation with the JV basketball, there are some nice players down on the JV this year, too.
Here's the pitch. She swings at a high one.
Time to battle.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Lynn. Popped up foul over us.
Come on, Allie, keep it up now. Put in play.
Last year, Lynn hit .214 as she looks at one up high.
There's that change of pace that softball pitchers, they use the same motion, and the ball is about a third of the speed coming.
Here's the rock and the pitch, and she takes ball 4, so Allie Lynn gets a walk to lead off the bottom of the second, and that'll bring up Spellman.
I can't tell you what a great at-bat that was to work for that walk. She fought off a couple pitches with a couple strikes on her, and she worked for that walk. Great at-bat.
And Spellman squares to bunt. It goes out of play over the screen at home plate.
Rachel Spellman is out in left field this year, and she was the catcher last year.
That one's in the dirt, but Lynn stays at first.
Has a couple nicknames, Mighty Mouse and Peanut. But this young lady is one tough young lady.
That one is bunted, but it'll be foul.
One smart young lady was on the National Honor Society as a sophomore.
Her on-base percentage last season was .404. So that's a pretty major contribution. As you see, Creer.
You can hear her nickname from the stands here. I guess she's going by Peanut during this season.
Creer adjusting her shin guards behind home plate.
I remember her last year catching behind the plate there, and she was one tough battler. They got Abby Joseph, who's just as tough. Abby moved in from third base and is behind the plate this year. So Coach Patterson has some versatility.
And he has a word for Rachel Spellman and sends her back to home plate. So the runner on first base is Lynn and nobody out. Squaring to bunt is Spellman, and she swings away, and this one's going to go foul down the first base side. Nice move by Spellman. Nice way to handle the bat.
She showed bunt and then pulled it back and slapped at it down the line. Just wow.
Right at battle, Tina, way to battle.
Same thing here. She's showing bunt. She's drawing the third base.
And she swings away and grounds one to third base. Third baseman will go to second, and it is not a clean job by Barnes to handle the throw. Amp's throw was a little bit low. Barnes tried to trap it, couldn't handle it. And Garden City ends up with 2 on now and nobody out.
We back to the top of the order here, right?
Yes, we are.
What's the cost, Bob?
Probably call that E5 to be
Yeah,
safe.
I would say E5. The ball was low. Should have had a force out on a fielder's choice.
So Bomarito, the batter, and she looks at one high and outside. Bomarito 0 for 1. Batted .450 on this Cougar team last year. Led the team in hits with 50. Shows bunt. Lets it go. Strike one is the call.
Belleville working their defense. The second baseman is covering the bag. Shortstop's charging in, and is going to third, and the third baseman's charging in.
Showing bunt again, and she fouls it. Not a good pitch to bunt right there.
I was always of the theory that if you know they were going to bunt, just get that ball high. Have that, you throw that rise, and it's very hard to bring that ball down when it's rising.
Here's the pitch. Strike three called, caught the outside corner. Great pitch by Jackson.
We complimented a batter, number 3 there, Lynn, for working for the walk. You got to really compliment Jackson on the mound for that strikeout. She worked hard for that strikeout.
So that'll bring up McIntosh, and she hits one out of play over the first base net.
Jackson threw a couple risers to Bomarino to get a couple strikes on her while she was giving the bunt. And it's hard to bunt that riser, and then she came back and just brought heat right across the plate.
The runner on second base is Lynn.
There's that riser again.
Runner on first base is Spellman. 1 down. Bottom two here at Lighted Field. Jackson on the mound. This one is ripped into the outfield, over the left fielder's head. That's going to go all the way to the wall. Lynn will score. Spellman stops at third. And McIntosh checks into second base with an RBI double.
And ripped was the correct word, Dan. Your thesaurus is working over there. That ball just left the bat and was straight over the head of the left fielder. She had no chance for that.
So that'll bring up Abby Joseph, the catcher. She had a double and a run scored. Her first time up, and she looks at strike one.
Garden City has a chance here, really putting a nice lead. They're up 4. 6 would be even nicer, a lot less pressure.
There's one. It's lined to the shortstop, and Hollis is there to make the play. Second out of the inning.
Kind of little knuckleball out there. It kind of arced its way to the shortstop. It wasn't a straight line shot. But 2 down, 2 on. Big at bat coming up here.
So Glenfield, the batter, she had a single and an RBI her first time up. Here's a ground ball through the middle for a base hit. That will score another run, maybe 2. Here's a throw to the plate. And in time is McIntosh. So a good job by McIntosh to score from second on the double, or on the single by Glenfield. She advances to second base on the throw. So 2 RBIs for Glenfield. She already has 3 RBIs in this game.
So a walk, an error, double and a single, and 3 runs are in.
It's 6-0 Garden City. There's a ground ball to the shortstop. She does a good job to keep it in front of her. She goes to third base.
She slid under the tag.
Oh, boy, and didn't get the out.
The throw was waist high. Glenfield came down and slid under the tag, and it was safe.
Gutsy move by Hollis. She figured she didn't have Quintana at first base, so she went for the runner in front of her. It was not a force play, and she did not get the out, so Powell the batter now. And Powell looks at a strike on the outside corner.
How do you score that? A single, or do you give a
That's a fielder's choice.
Fielder's choice, right. No error?
No,
Okay.
not really. And you could have given her a single because if the shortstop didn't even think she could throw her out as the runner advances to second base without a throw, you could give her a hit because Hollis thought she didn't have a shot at her.
I know you've been to 12 more games this year than I have, so I thought I'd let you call that.
How many you been to?
None.
There you go. Here's the rock and the pitch. Swing and a miss by Powell.
I'm not complaining or anything, Dad.
It's funny, too, because I swore before the season started I was going to sit at home and watch my high-def TV and avoid the traffic and avoid all the nonsense. There's a ground ball off the pitcher's glove. Quick throw to first is in time. Wow. A bang-bang play at first. That goes 1-4-3 as Jackson got a piece of it, and the side is retired, but not before the Cougars pick up 3 more runs. 3 runs on 2 hits.
2 hits. A walk and an error.
A walk and an error. And 2 runners left on base. So the Cougars off to a pretty good start here against Belleville in game 1 of the doubleheader. 6-0, Garden City on top. Cougars 1-0 in the conference. Their only win over Belleville in conference, their only game, I should say, against Belleville in conference. The Western Wayne Athletic Conference Blue Division, which includes Belleville, Romulus, Etzel, Dearborn, Crestwood, and Garden City.
Garden City has done very well since the Western Wayne Athletic Association was put together. They are a dominating team.
Undefeated in the conference last year. 10-0.
They're going to wind up playing at the districts at Franklin, which will probably include Franklin, Stevenson, themselves, Thurston, and RU, I think, as the district this year.
Yeah, I haven't even seen the draw.
I know they've done it already because my son's complaining that he didn't like his draw.
Jernigan, Zantop, and Rodriguez, 8-9-1 for Belleville. Here in the third. And he is at Crestwood? No, where's he?
Franklin.
Franklin, rather. There's a fly ball to the center fielder. 1 up and 1 away.
He's complaining that he's hosting it at Franklin, and he drew Garden City.
Swisher made the play in center field.
Swisher, I've been kidding her all winter. She made the last 2 outs in the regional final out there in center field. And the last out was a nice running catch over there at Grosse Point South.
That one is down low. 1 ball and no strikes.
Julene Pummel patrolled center field last year, is now playing basketball and volleyball over at Schoolcraft.
She's one of the only a couple of seniors that graduated from this team. What a play. What a play by McIntosh, who had come in and was playing in front of the pitcher on that slap bunt.
McIntosh was about 38 feet from that. That was a
and that'll bring up Rodriguez. She's 0 for 1. And she looks at a changeup for a strike.
Rodriguez bunted the ball very softly to Glenfield at third, her first time up, and was thrown out.
Bomarito on the mound for Garden City. Here's a pop-up behind shortstop. The left fielder comes in, mishandles it. So the second base runner of the day for Belleville.
E7.
Yeah, although it might not have been her ball. Still a little wind here today.
Little tweener Texas leaguer, and nobody really took charge out there.
Wind almost out of the due south here today. So that means it's blowing out to right field. That'll bring up Madison Amp. She looks at one of the dirty, gets past the catcher. Going into second base is Rodriguez, and she'll stay there. So Abby Joseph. We talked with Barry Patterson before the game, him and Chris Griffith, one of his assistant coaches. The home plate has been moved up significantly from where it was for the lighted field of the men's softball program that was here. There's a ground ball to second base. Nice job by McIntosh. Quick throw over to first in plenty of time. And that's it for Belleville. So they get a runner on via an error and leave one, and we go to the bottom of the third. Garden City still up 6-0. But we talked about the fact that home plate is, I'm bad at this, but what would you say, 25 or 30 feet from the back of the backstop? And it used to be much closer, so now if the ball gets past the catcher, they have quite a run to pick it up. And the reason they moved it up is they're planning on bringing the backstop itself up to run from dugout to dugout. Barry Patterson has raised a lot of money to do a lot of improvements on this field. He's brought the fence in, put a new fence in, put a new infield in, resodded about half the outfield to cover up where the rest of the infield used to be when it was a men's diamond. And so he's looking to raise money still to put up a new screen behind home plate rather than a fence backstop to put up an actual net screen.
Well, he's been working really hard over the last 2 years, and a lot of fundraising. And if you're listening and you have an idea how you would like to donate or help this field,
he'll take your money, that's for sure.
He'll talk to you. He might even take you to a local establishment and buy you a soda to talk to you.
So that'll bring up Vera Burgos. This is her second time up.
She struck out the end of first inning.
Jackson on the mound still, and she throws one inside. Jayla Jackson, the right-hander, pitching for Belleville. There's a ground ball that she handles. Quick flip over to first in plenty of time, and there's one up and one away. That'll bring up Allie Lynn.
You know, I was thinking until we saw the last play, and McIntosh made at second base, and you brought up her. I wonder how many putouts she has. I mean, she's played almost flawless second base for 4 years, and she's got to have just a ton of putouts there. At
and in
base.
softball, that is such an important position. High school girls softball. Outfield deep on Lynn, and Lynn hits a line shot past the second baseman for a base hit. This one goes all the way to the warning track, and Lynn trots into second base with a stand-up double. Allie Lynn, with the infield playing back, still managed to get that one through.
I want to tell you, just watching her round first base and heading to second, she has that tall, lanky run. You know, it's a long stride. She's a nice bit of hitting. Remember, she's the young lady that worked for a walk to start the second inning.
Here's the rock and the pitch, down low in the dirt, but a good job by the catcher, Crerar, to keep it in front of her.
Crarer's done a great job behind the plate here. There's been runners on the whole game, and she hasn't really not let anybody advance.
Third baseman creeping in. This is a bunt towards first base. Hugs the line. The first baseman goes for the tag. I don't think she got her. And a base hit for Spellman. So Spellman with a bunt single. The first baseman, Sirak, reached out to try to tag her, and Spellman moved just far enough out of the baseline to avoid the tag and not be called out. Top of the order now, it's Bomarito.
Make it count now, Bomber. Make it count.
Bomber's looking for her first hit here. Bomarito struck out the last time, grounded to the first baseman unassisted the first time.
So 2 on and 1 out here in the third.
Come on, Bomber. Let's see it, kid.
Bomarito 0 for 2. There's a throw down to second base on a delayed steal. It was a double steal. This is just odd. Fielder holding onto the ball, and neither one of our runners is going back to a base. So Spellman finally goes back to first, and Lynn finally goes back to third, sort of. So here's what happened. Lynn stole third. Spellman took off, but kind of hung up between first and second to try and draw the throw. Hollis, the shortstop, took the throw, but didn't want to lose Lynn at third base, so she just held it there until she got the runners to retreat. This one is fisted to the shortstop. She flips it over to second base, and no advancement at third base by Lynn.
Hey, 2 down. Here we go, girls.
So a force out at second is the second run. Bomarito safe at first on the fielder's choice. And McIntosh, who has 2 runs scored, a double and an RBI up for the Cougars.
Actually, I'm afraid here that I might get whacked because you're the godfather of television.
Did I see it wrong?
But the girl on third base got to third base on the bunt, so there was no steal.
Oh,
They were trying to steal a run by going down to second, and hopefully by making the play at second, the runner from third could steal home.
all right, my mistake. I thought it was first and second, so Lynn had already moved up. All right.
But it was. I just wanted to apologize for pointing that out.
We could have fixed it in editing. We could have changed it to
Okay.
whatever we wanted. So runners on the corners. And there's a swing and a miss on a changeup by McIntosh. Throw down to second base.
Way to hustle, Bomber.
And Bomarito with a steal.
I missed that one. I'm sorry.
I'll tell you, they're down 6-0, but basically Belleville has played some solid defense, and they really haven't made that many mistakes. There was an error at second base in the last inning, but other than that, they've been pretty solid.
Marty Mac.
Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss by McIntosh.
Head in there. Come on, Kate. Come on,
As
Kate.
some dark clouds move over the outfield.
Let's go, girl.
Well, that's Michigan.
Yeah.
It'll be snowing by the 5th inning.
Radar isn't showing anything, but boy, those are some pretty dark clouds. Here's a fly ball that's hit into right field, and it drops in for a base hit. 1 run will score. Here's the throw to the plate. 2 runs will score. So McIntosh with an RBI single, 2 RBIs, and it's 8-0 Garden City.
GC.
So Lynn scores and Bomarito scores. And that'll bring up Joseph, and an 8-0 lead for the Cougars here in the third. That one just misses on the outside corner. Yeah, the temperature has dropped a little bit. You could feel it. I want to warn all the camera people. And there is a strike called on the inside corner. Here's a rock in the pitch. Throw down to second base. Not in time. A stolen base for McIntosh.
Joseph right now, double on the line out to the shortstop the last inning. This is her third at bat in 3 innings.
Abby Batted had a .629 slugging percentage to lead the Cougars last season as she takes one inside. Glenfield on deck. 2 out. And that one's in. That's a called strike on the inside corner. So the runner on second base is McIntosh. Cougars with an 8-0 lead. Inside and a walk on Joseph. And that'll bring up Glenfield. Kalen with 2 hits and 3 RBIs so far.
You were talking about the career hits, and this young lady from Dave, which number is that? Is that Michaela again?
It's smaller, I think, so
Yeah.
it's your courtesy runner on first base for Abby Joseph. There's one up high.
One thing about Michaela Smoller over there on first, this lady is fast. We tried to set up a exhibition run between her and Lightning during the basketball season, but Lightning didn't want to go against her.
So Peg Curtis, no, that is not Peg Curtis. That's one of the coaches of Belleville that comes out to have a word with her pitcher. So Jackson has given up 2 runs this inning.
Jackson has not pitched bad. She's been around the plate the whole time, a couple walks, but Garden City is a hitting team. They will put the bat on the ball here, and they have taken every opportunity. They've done some great, great coaching going on for stealing at the right time, and you get to the point, you get these high school pitchers, and they're giving everything they got. And then when they get behind, they start trying to overthrow because they think it's all up to them.
So Glenfield, the batter. Here's the whip and the pitch. And Glenfield pokes one into the outfield. Foul ball down the right field line. That was close to scoring 2.
Glenfield is just a ball player. She's just a ball player. She's going to put the bat on the ball, up there. And like you said, we both talked about her power from last year.
Here's the rock and the pitch. Hits one down to third base. The third baseman just has to tag the base. And Amp does that, and the side is retired. But the Cougars continue to add to their tally. 2 runs this inning for Garden City on 3 hits. And an 8-0 lead for Garden City. So we'll take a quick break. We'll have more from Lighted Field right after you watch this. Incorporate Marketing is the official apparel provider of Omni-Edition Sports. Back here at Lighted Field, Dan York along with Ted Fournier, Omni-Edition Sports, GCTV. Hope you're enjoying us, either the video portion of this program that we'll have on Comcast Channel 12. Wow. Channel 18, UVerse Channel 99 for the next couple of weekends, or our live audio stream that's at ustream.tv. Look for GCTV Sports. Again, we'll have select audio of Cougar softball and baseball live audio streams throughout the season. That one is falling out of play, and it'll roll up the concession stand and come back down.
Ryan Hollis is the batter. She struck out.
She's a shortstop, and she looks at one down low as the sun has gone behind the clouds for the moment.
I think the sun's scheduled to make another appearance next Monday, so.
It has been a cold spring, and it has been damp the last couple of days. This one has popped up to the shortstop, and Lynn puts it away. It's been very tough to get spring sports. Can you imagine being a kid that plays, say, in Marquette or one of those places where there's still snow on the ground as we approach the 1st of May? So this is Bailey Creer, the catcher.
You documented this is the 6th game. Should be the 11th game today. They've lost 5. And remember,
That one is fouled off at the concession stand.
Garden City did the smart thing this year. They had a spring break where they weren't going to play. But they practiced. They went down to, was it Myrtle Beach?
That's
they went
correct.
down and practiced in Myrtle Beach for a week.
Yeah, they try to do that every 3 years, I think, to make sure that all the kids get to go at least once in their careers. You see the swing and the miss. That's a really nice thing they do.
Well, it's a really smart thing to do because you really can't play. And when you're off, it's kind of optional. But if you get the whole team down in the same place, there's nothing else to do but practice.
Well, you know, you tease me about going to Florida, but when we go down to spring training every year, you know, those teams at Cranbrook and Bloomfield Hills and Country Day, and they're all down there in Lakeland using the facilities down in Lakeland every year.
I just want to clear the term up. It's not teasing, Dan. I'm just totally mad at you, and I'm giving you grief.
Don't hate the player, hate the game.
Someday when I start liking you, then I'll tease.
Here's the rock in the pitch. This one is ripped right back to the pitcher, and she'll flip it over to first base. So a great job by Bomarito. She almost caught it on the fly. And she recovered quickly to flip it over to first base.
Bomarito, for not being overpowering, and I don't want to jinx her here, has given up one hit. The second other runner has been on an error.
That is correct.
And she's done a fine job. And I think a lot of it has to do with she's not afraid to pitch outside. And then there's another pitch outside. But then when the batter starts leaning over for that outside pitch, she brings it across the plate, and they're hitting it off the handle of the bat.
Well, she's got great movement across her body for pitches that start off in the strike zone and end up in the opposite batter's box, but you end up swinging at them anyways.
There's one they swung late. Bomarito pitched, her whole career here, and I think this is the first year she's been the number one.
But she did win 10 games last year, along with Gabby Quintana.
Gabby Joseph.
Gabby Joseph, rather, sorry.
Gabby Joseph is sitting with her mom just to the right of us, right next to the Cougar dugout.
That one is down low.
Her sister's behind the plate there, Abby. Abby's an all area point guard. Had a few games this year where she had triple doubles.
And, you know, it's surprising to me. I didn't realize Joseph was a junior still because she's been on the varsity basketball team for 3 years, I think.
Well, we tried to get her on it when she was an 8th grader, but they wouldn't let us.
Rules. That'll bring up Jayla Jackson, the pitcher. She had a double. Hit a bomb to right center in the second inning. Cougars lead at 8-0.
She looks very athletic here.
Bomarito on the mound. Sirik at first base. That one's a little high.
One thing Bomarito has been able to do is all the base runners have come on with 2 outs. And that's always an advantage.
And we have 2 out here again. That one's outside, 2-0.
She's pitching very carefully to Jackson.
Yeah, she remembers that double in the second, that's for sure.
Well, she hasn't
Didn't get the call there, so 3-0.
Hasn't thrown her a strike.
That was a pretty good pitch, though, on 2-0. Thought she might get the call on that one.
She's almost fishing. She's trying to get the batters to swing at bad pitches.
There's your strike call.
It's easier to do when you get ahead of the batter. Then you can get them swinging at bad pitches. Now she's got to come in here at 3-1.
There's a chopper that will go foul and picked up in foul territory by Glenfield.
Make a play behind her, girls.
66 degrees at game time. Clouds have taken over here at Lighted Field. There's a ground ball. Glenfield makes a nice play. Across the infield. What an arm on Glenfield. And Jackson, who had a 3-0 count, ends up grounding out the third.
Well, what happened is she didn't throw her a strike, and then she battled her way and got those 2 quick strikes on her. And then, you realize that there's a sophomore at third base and a sophomore at shortstop. So that side of the infield's set for a while.
Want to take this opportunity to thank all of the volunteers that are out here working today as we take a look at the upcoming games for the Belleville Tigers, and we'll list all of the volunteers later on as we go through this. But lots and lots of people on hand to make this one work, and we're going to make it Cougars' upcoming games instead. So Garden City scheduled to play at Romulus on Friday, and then they're in the Stars tournament over the weekend on May 3rd and 4th, and we'll talk about the importance of tournaments when we get through this list. Then it's league play with Etzel and Crestwood here at home, and then a big game on May 9th. That's a night game against Livonia Churchill, and that is a big fundraiser here at Garden City High School at Lighted Field, and it's the only scheduled night game for the Cougars here at Lighted Field. Steve Gentilia, the head coach of Livonia Churchill, will bring his girls over here. He's a Garden City guy, and that'll be a nice fundraiser. Come out and watch that one. The Chelsea round robin after that. They've got a doubleheader against Dearborn, and then they travel to Belleville on May 14th for the rematch. And when you play a doubleheader inside of the conference, only the first game counts as a league game, and the second one as a non-conference game. Some of the better schools like Garden City and Belleville that has a pretty good softball lineage, they want to get as many games in as they possibly can. That's why the tournaments also, you can go to a tournament and get 6-7 games in a weekend if you win the tournament, and it's really what softball teams want to get themselves ready for the postseason tournament in districts.
Well, a lot of times the league competition is not the highest quality, and you want to play some tough schools before you get into the tournament.
So that'll bring up Powell, the first baseman for Garden City. And she looks at that change-up, but it's a called strike. Powell last year batted .253, but had a .438 slugging percentage. That one's high and out of her reach.
Another young lady that's a fine athlete. Played some great point guard for us, not last year, but the previous season.
And she looks at a strike at her knees.
One heck of a very smart player. Very, very competitive and very smart. She not only beats you with her skills, she beats you with her head.
Outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Powell. Vera Burgos on deck. Jackson still on the mound for Belleville. This one is popped fouled on the first base side. With the breeze and with the change in temperature, you would think we might get some rain, but again, right now on the radar, none showing up.
Well, it's kind of interesting. Everybody's playing softball. 2 girls out there in center field making a snowman.
This one is hit into right field and put away by Zantop, and there's 2 away. 2 unassisted putouts by Zantop, the right fielder.
First time the first 2 batters have been out before they got a base runner. Garden City has scored in every inning, had hits in every inning.
And Vera Burgos will try to keep it alive right here. She's 0 for 2. Again, she had a big day on Monday against Southgate Anderson. Rock in the pitch, outside. 8-0 Garden City on top, 2 down.
Go, Hannah, come on now. Go, VP.
Bottom of the 4th. Swing and a miss at a change-up down low. She was looking for something different, I think, there.
Garden City, no runners on for the first time. wants to keep the pressure on. You don't want to take anything away, any pressure off of Belleville. You're leading 8-0.
Here's the pitch. Up high, comes all the way back here.
Good catch, Dan.
It actually moved my computer.
It did.
Yeah.
Dan, next time, can we go down to first base line?
I don't make you crawl up on the dugout anymore.
No, you don't.
This one is popped foul. It's going to hit the concession stand.
I think you've learned the term impossible.
After I watched you walk the bleachers at Eastern for the football game, I'm never going to make you do anything like that again.
I don't even want. I have a lawsuit against that doctor, by the way.
Here's the pitch. Popped up. Shortstop comes in Hollis and makes the play, and it's the first 1-2-3 inning for Jackson. 8-0 as we head to the fifth inning. Tell that story back in, a couple, 3 years ago. Garden City was playing Belleville, as a matter of fact, right?
Yeah, football.
At Eastern, because Belleville was having a new football field built. And it was the hottest game we've probably ever done. It was about 95 or 96 degrees, and it wasn't even the first game of the season. It was the second or third game of the season. And so we televised the game at Ipsy, and Ted did not know there was an elevator.
Well, the worst part about it is my doctor was using me for a chemistry experiment, and I find out 6 months after that game that 2 or 3 of the drugs that he was giving me did not like each other. And you know that list of complications you get when you're TV drugs? Yeah. Well, I had all of them.
You had all of them.
I had all of them.
Nice job.
Like the ability not able to stand up.
Ted only walked about 130 rows of bleachers.
But I know you was a good laugh in that, but you got to give me credit.
You made it.
Because I made it up.
You made it. You had some choice words for me by the time you got to the top, but you made it.
I made it to the now I've done about 4 games since there at that stadium for Little League football, and I found the elevator.
Have you found the elevator since then? Yeah, I do PA out there for Eastern football. And the rule for the guys in the press box is you have to at least walk up. And their thing is when I'm too old to walk up the bleachers, I can't work here anymore. Well, there are guys there that are 80 years old, and they're still walking up the bleachers for every Eastern game. They don't always take them down. You'd think it'd be easier to go down, but by then they just want to go home.
They have good popcorn in it.
They do. They do.
You got to remember the important
things.
That's
right. So we're in the fifth.
We digress.
My friends at Eastern Michigan University. Cougars lead 8-0 against the Belleville Tigers, and this one is popped towards second base and put away by McIntosh, and there's one up and one away as Barnes pops out to second base. That'll bring up Jernigan. She's 0 for 1. First game of the doubleheader. On television, we'll have the first game that you're watching this weekend and then the second game next weekend. May 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, 10, 2, 7, and 11 for this game. First time around, I should say. This one has popped up. Catcher and the third baseman. The catcher, Abby Joseph, puts it away for the second out of the inning.
Barbarino, once again, jamming him on the handle. A lot of pop-ups, Dan. I don't know if she always does that, but in today's game, she's just been jamming him, and the ball's been going up in the air.
So the second baseman and the shortstop now both come up play even with the pitcher, and the right fielder comes to the second base position on Kendall Zantow. And just to finish it, this game, May 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, 10, 2, 7, 11 on GCTV. Next week, May 9th, 10th, and 11th, 10, 2, 7, and 11 on GCTV. For those of you listening to the live audio and want to watch the playback of the complete broadcast, and then, of course, we'll have it available on YouTube also.
I want you, the fans at home, to notice that there are 8 infielders, counting the pitcher.
There's one away.
The left fielder, the center fielder, and the right fielder are all on the skim of the infield. Second baseman can hold hands with the pitcher.
And she's charging in on the pitch, and that one's down low. And the one thing with this alignment from Bommarito's got to throw strikes. Doesn't work if you don't throw strikes. Here's the rock and the pitch. And this one is bounced and it'll go foul at home plate. So 2 balls and 2 strikes on Zantop.
Zantop got wheels. And they don't expect her to take a full swing. She's going to slap at it. And the Cougars are saying, no, you're not.
Here's the pitch. Popped up, foul. Right back by us.
Come on, Rachel, win this battle.
2 down, top of the 5th inning. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Zantop. There's a ground ball that got through the hole. She found the hole. It got past the pitcher too quick for her to make the play, and it made its way into center field. Nice job of hitting by Kendall Zantop.
Right to the 5 hole. Second hit of the night.
Got back to Bommarito a little too quick. And that'll bring up the leadoff hitter, Andrea Rodriguez.
This is another young lady that's probably going to just slap the balls. Every time up, she's tried to just make contact. She's got a wide open stance.
And this one is popped foul down the third base line. And the head coach, manager Peg Curtis of Belleville, wants to have a word with Rodriguez.
Once again, the runner on base with 2 outs, and that's been the story of the game. Belleville has had 4 runners, but every time they have 2 outs when they get on.
And outside, so 1-1 on Rodriguez. Madison Amp on deck.
Just go after the batter. That run at first means nothing.
Let's go, 2 down now.
The rock and the pitch. Bunt. Catcher, Glenfield. Glenfield has no play. So a bunt single for Rodriguez. Zantop advances to second base.
Well, that's the first time. That was a perfect bunt, too. Perfect bunt. Too far for Joseph to go out and get it, and Glenfield wasn't as close as Glenfield was. She wasn't going to get it.
So that'll bring up Amp. And she hits one right back to the pitcher. Bommarito handles it cleanly and gets out of the inning. So Bommarito pitches out of trouble, and Belleville is held off the scoreboard.
Well, that's the third time Belleville got a runner down as far as second, and the first time they had 2 runners. But 2 perfect hits, one right through up the middle, and one bunt, and that's how Belleville got on. But once again, when you get the first 2 batters in the inning, you're not too many bad things are going to happen to you.
So we talked about our crew, and we want to acknowledge everybody. We had to come out the day before, and it was funny. We had to make a decision yesterday as to whether to start the setup because it really didn't look like this game was going to be played. And yesterday the sun came out. The temperatures went into the 70s. And my thanks to Jason Merrill for coming out yesterday, along with our new folks, Eric Volk and Chris Pop, who were on hand yesterday. Christian Gibbons, who has done all kinds of work on getting ready to telecast this doubleheader. And our crew here working today, our camera people, are Evan Chapman. There's Brett George, who's been here for a long time, since the mid-'80s. There you see Jason Merrill under the plastic bag. That's Chris Pop, who is on our camera, located above first base. Evan Chapman out in center field. Evan did the radio audio stream with me on Monday of the Garden City Southgate first game of the doubleheader. And in our truck today, hopefully we'll get them all. Chelsea Humphrey, who works with us at the University of Detroit and also works at Local 4. JT McBain is in the truck, along with the man they call Furby, Zach King. Did I get everybody, Gibby? I'm not sure if I got everybody. We have a big, big crew here today, so our thanks to all of them for all their help setting up today and all their help setting up yesterday. So Allie Lynn will lead it off. And that one is fouled out of play. And our director, our producer, Christian Gibbons in my ear saying, thank goodness we don't have to come back tomorrow, because we thought if this one was rained out, and Barry Patterson and his coaches had to work like crazy to get this field in shape, because right in front of the pitcher's mound, it was just mud. Even though the field looked good, the areas where they had brought in dirt throughout the season. So actually, Barry went and got some absorbent product, and it's not the regular diamond dust. It's more like the stuff you use in a garage to get the oil off the ground. As you see a swing and a miss and a strikeout by Lynn. But they used that and did all kinds of work on the pitching mound area. And I can't thank him, along with Chris Griffith and Al Russell, for I can't thank them enough for everything they did to get this field in place. Want to mention Chuck Druitt's, too, one of the coaches here at Garden City High School, very much involved in Garden City High School sports. Chuck is.
Jackson's really settled down here. That's the
fourth out in a row?
Yeah.
5 if you conclude the last out of the third inning. And she goes with a changeup there, and it's a called strike. So Spellman, the batter. She's had a run scored and a single in this one. Swing and a miss by Spellman. So 1-2 on Rachel Spellman. Bomarito on deck. Fouled right back at us.
Still alive. Come on, win this battle.
Jackson, when her initial warm-ups looked really sharp, but
here's one hit into right field and dropped by the right fielder. Zantop went to a basket catch, and it clanged off her mitt, so Spellman is safe on an error for the second time in this game.
Bomarino's 0 for 3 stepping in, safe on a fielder's choice.
And did score a run.
Right.
And she looks at a strike inside. So the runner at first base is Spellman. Bomarito, the batter, with 1 out. 8-0 Garden City. Bottom 5 here at Lighted Field. Dan York along with Ted Fournier. And there's a bunt, and it's a good one. Third baseman goes to second, and the umpire says safe. Tough break for Belleville.
Well, I don't know. Did you see, was she on the bag or was she in front of the bag?
Well, from here, it looked like she was on the bag.
If she was on the bag, I thought it would be, but she slid in.
So a fielder's choice for Bomarito, and that'll bring up Caitlin McIntosh. Tough break for Belleville. And a runner comes in for Bomarito. That is Krasinski. Desiree Krasinski, the junior, will run at first base for Bomarito, but Bomarito most likely will re-enter as the pitcher. This one is ripped into left field. The left fielder comes over, makes the play right at the foul line. Nice play by Rodriguez on the fly ball.
All right, let's see if we can see that. I know my eyes are aging.
Right, this is the bunt and the play at second base. Oh, she was right. You're right. She was in front of the bag. Good call, Ted.
Reminded me of 1984. He's off the bag.
Yeah, she was standing in front of the bag.
Whole Hawkeye Fournier got that.
And we got another runner coming in for Garden City.
Number 9.
Yep. So Smolar, Smolar will come in and run at second base for Spellman. Now there is re-entry allowed, so this is not a courtesy runner. So the runner on second base is Smolar running for Spellman. The runner on first base is Krasinski running for Bomarito. We'll have to see if there are any defensive changes for Garden City.
Desiree actually is a senior there, Dan.
Is she?
Yeah, she was there at senior night.
Nope, I'm looking at last year's roster. Thanks.
Oh. I didn't want to,
Somehow, I now have last year's roster instead of this year's roster. Now I have this year's
They're
roster.
pretty close.
That's why I may have gotten some of the grades wrong, because I think I've been calling the grades off the wrong roster. Catcher throws back to second base. Runner is in a pickle now. And they lose it.
Now, Dan,
wow.
I don't want to give you the bad news, but you are going to have to explain the term pickle.
Oh, we did that the last time, didn't we?
Okay. I don't know.
So the runner goes to
third
base, so that is Krasinski at third.
No, Smaller at third, I think.
Krasinski's at first. I don't know. They're wearing the jerseys without the numbers on the front today, so. So runners on first and third. The runners are Smolar and Krasinski. Plug them in anywhere you want. And that'll bring up Abby Joseph. Throw down to third base after the walk by Joseph. So Joseph on first. That one we're sure of.
I think that's Michaela Smoller there at third there.
All right, so Smoller at third, Krasinski at second, Joseph at first. And the batter is Glenfield. Glenfield with a couple of hits.
Joseph's second walk of the day.
3 RBIs for Glenfield in this one. And she rips one at the shortstop. Flips it to second base, not in time. So the shortstop made a nice play. Now let's take a look at the rundown that got the runner to third base. And there you saw Barnes took her eye off the ball to look at the runner, and the ball got past her.
That's the fourth RBI of the day for Glenfield.
So that's a fielder's choice also, but an RBI. And that'll bring up Quintana. So bases loaded for Garden City. 9-0, and I don't know what the mercy is after 5. Is it 10 or 12?
Because it
goes down as the game goes on, and there's a strike called. But I think if Quintana clears the bases here, it's over. There was one ripped up the middle. And another safety for Garden City. So a base hit for Quintana.
That's 10-0.
And that makes it 10-0.
And that's the game.
And that is the ball game. So Garden City comes away with a 10-0 win in game number 1 of our doubleheader. Quintana with an RBI single to give the Cougars the win, and the Cougars raise their record to 6-0 on the season. So a complete game victory for Bomarito and a shutout for Bomarito as the Cougars run their record to 6-0. And before we go off the air of our first game of the doubleheader, I want to thank Jim Neve and our friends at Incorporate Graphics. And when we come out of this slate, I want you to take a look at some of the jerseys that he created for our crew here at Omni-Edition Television. He did a great job with these baseball jerseys. He's right across the street from Garden City High School, and that's the kind of work he'll do for you, whether it be embroidery, whether it be silk screening, and now he does what is called these one-off prints, where he actually can do anything on a T-shirt for you from any sort of an image. There you see the model ain't so great, but there you see the jersey. That's Jason Merrill wearing his jersey that he got from Incorporate Graphics. So our thanks to Jim Neve and all the great folks at Incorporate Graphics. So that's going to wrap it up for Game 1 of the doubleheader here at Garden City High School. The final score, Garden City 10, Belleville nothing on the radio side. We'll be back with the second game in about 10 minutes. And on television, you can catch the game number 2 next week here on GCTV. So far, our entire crew, including our director and producer, Christian Gibbons. And for Ted Fournier, this is Dan York saying so long from Garden City High School. Again, the final, the Cougars 10, Belleville nothing. Thanks for watching, and good night, everybody.